One of the biggest names, of course, mentioned in the Mitchell report on steroid use in baseball, but so far, the Cy Young Award-winning pitcher Roger Clemmons has denied vigorously ever using performance-enhancing drugs.
Well, we're going to wait and see if he's actually telling the truth, because Congress is now asking Clemmons to testify at a hearing later this month. Boy, that should get interesting. He hasn't said whether he's actually going to show up, but has Clemmons backed himself into a corner? Let's ask our legal panel now. Here on the couch, Fox News legal analyst Mercedes Colwin and former prosecutor Paul Callan joins us now. You know, let's just talk about Clemmons talking himself into a tight squeeze, because I don't know, this should be interesting for Major League Baseball. Finally, they're going to be held up to the truth, but he's not really telling the truth.
It's so amazing. I mean, Julie, why did he even have to open his mouth? He could have just stayed quiet, because no one really had focused in on him. Obviously, his trainer had come forward, but there was no reason, there was no public outcry. No one was really looking at him and saying, well, did you actually get injected? Not. And he figured, for my own PR, if he lies to Congress, he's going to jail. We've seen that already. I mean, if it's
contempt of Congress, right?
Contempt of Congress, perjury charges, is now he's under obstruction of justice. We're talking such major challenges, major charges.
You know, Paul, I gotta say, Clemmons' explanations are increasingly vacuous and just downright silly. It's put up on the screen. His videotaped statement that he made 2 days before Christmas, quote, "I did not provide Brian McNamee with any drugs to inject into my body." Well, now he's backpedaling and saying, well, McNamee did give me injections, but it was only B12 vitamins and lidocaine. Well, hey, guess what? Lidocaine is a drug. So he either misspoke or he's lying.
Well, that's very true. And you say, well, why would he agree to testify under oath and subject himself to possible perjury? Well, Roger Clemmons wants a shot at the Hall of Fame. He doesn't want his entire reputation as a baseball player slurred and destroyed by these allegations. And he's come across the one defense that might be a good one, which is, I don't know what the guy was injecting in me. I thought it was B12, and it turns out that it was steroids. And by the way, who's going to contradict him? It's one word against another word. You can't prove perjury on the testimony of one person.
Can I just run with that for a second? Sure. I talked to a doctor who laughed at the notion of injecting lidocaine. It's a local anesthetic.
Right.
So if you're injecting in your butt, it's only going to numb your butt. It's not going to help your joints, your arms, your legs, or anything. The doctor laughed at it. I looked it up on WebMD. I mean, injectable lidocaine used to numb an area before surgery.
Well, I've seen Roger Clemmons scratch his butt before he pitches.
So it may have had something to do with
hemorrhoids,
that.
maybe.
Yes, well, no, I really don't know.
But it's laughable. It's laughable that he would inject lidocaine.
Or B12. I mean, B12 they do on occasion, but still, lidocaine, it's certainly such a stretch, but that's not going to amount to perjury.
You know, the thing is, he's taking a tremendous risk, though, by testifying under oath, because right now, he's not facing any perjury charges. Maybe his reputation's been besmirched, but once he testifies under oath in front of Congress, he does face potential perjury charges.
And if he is convicted, talk about the sentencing, this guy is in big trouble. He could be in jail for a long time. How, if he can, is it possible for him to actually avoid being prosecuted?
If there are charges against him, there's no way he could avoid it. I mean, they'll go through the grand jury indictment, they'll go through down the process. And look, I mean, Martha Stewart, what was she convicted of? She was convicted of lying to federal agents.
He could avoid it by taking the Fifth Amendment, and that's the smartest move that he could take at this point. Refuse to testify in front of Congress.
Sure, but ring the bell then.
He gets immunity.
Well, if they give him immunity, then he's got another problem. He can be forced to testify.
Well, I don't understand why the feds aren't going after him, because if he is lying and McNamee's telling the truth, he committed more than a dozen different crimes.
You need two witnesses, okay? It's his word against McNamee's right now.
Hey, they went after Bonds.
Where's the corroboration?